Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the light and love that is Unity of Lawrence. So excited to have all of you with us this beautiful first Sunday in June. As you are all aware, in Unity, we begin everything with prayer. So let's join our Chaplain Karen as we begin the service by that divine presence we know is within each and every one of us.
Good morning, my divine friends. Let's just take a deep breath in and sigh it out, and another breath in, and centering ourselves into that heart space where we acknowledge that we are love at the core of our being, that the light of love beams through us, through our actions, through our words, through our thoughts, that we are loved and that we can love. We live from the center of being, the center of love, and we vibrate and transmit that to all others. And we are grateful that we can do this. And through this love, we are connected across the miles, and we are connected to one another to brighten and lighten this world. We are the love that never ends. And for that, we can be so, so grateful. And as we settle in to receive the message and the beautiful music, we just relax. We know that we are safe and that we are free and that we are loved. And for that, we say, thank you, God. Amen. So it is.
So it is. Please join Holly in singing If It's to Be by Sue Riley. If it's to be. If it's to be.
Good morning, Unity. Good to see you today. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I seek the truth, let me speak the truth. And if I'm lost in doubt, let me believe. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. And if I'm tired and stressed, let me stop and rest. And if I'm feeling hurt, let me forget. 'Cause I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. And if I dream of peace, let me be the peace. And when I'm found in love, I am love. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. And it's up to me. It's up to me. It's up to me.
Thank you, Holly. Now it's time for our Unity intentions. Please affirm with me Unity's founding principle. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And finally, our UOL mission. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. Our guest speaker and musician, Janice Stanfield, has earned platinum albums for the songs she's written, which you heard on radio, TV, and movies. Co-founder of 2 international charities, Together We Can Change the World and Refugee Film School, she has brought education and hope to thousands of young people worldwide. You might relate to one of the first songs she wrote after attending her first Unity Church experience. It's called I'm Not Lost, I'm Exploring. Please give a very happy Unity welcome to Jana Stanfield. Yay!
Well, since you mentioned that little song, I might as well just sing it a little bit. I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying, though I may not know where I'm going. I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. I want you to look back at your own journey of a lifetime this morning. I believe that each one of us is on the journey of a lifetime. Right at this moment, you are exactly where you're meant to be on this journey of a lifetime. Not only that, you've reached this place right on time, and there's no hurry. When you know you're always in your right place, there's no hurry to be at a different one. No hurry to be further along. No hurry to get to the next place. The next place is coming, and it will come. I'm reaching over to tune off my guitar tuner, which is making noise. And would you let me know in the chat if you can also hear the little dog that's barking outside the door, so I can see if I can maybe let him in. We are exploring even as we do a Zoom service, aren't we? So your journey of a lifetime. If I could look down on this path I walk from somewhere way up high, I could see the crooked road that I've come. I walked a mile with sorrow, I walked a mile with joy. Now I'm less afraid of either one. For every tear I've cried, there's a smile that I have earned. For every mile that I walk, there's a lesson I learned. I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying, though I may not know where I'm going. I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. All of us are headed for the same destination. So why not blaze a trail that's got imagination? I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying, though I may not know where I'm going. I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. Unity of Lawrence, and everyone out there on Facebook. It's so wonderful to be with you right now and to share this part of my journey with you. That song is one that I wrote with Jerry Kimbrough, who came into my life when I was a facilitator at a ropes course. And this was so long ago when I had come to Nashville to seek my fame and fortune, and realized that if that was going to happen, and if that's what I really wanted, that could take a really long time. And it could also be a lot like being in a room full of slot machines. And if you've ever been or could imagine being in a room full of slot machines, you know that you would put all of your time, your talent, and your treasure into that slot machine and keep pulling the handle to see if you are the creative person who hits that jackpot of fortune and fame. And I had begun to wonder if maybe I had been given these gifts, this gift of music, this gift of words, for some reason other than fame and fortune. I wondered if I was given this gift of music to be helpful to others. Because I found that in writing songs that were helpful to me, I found others also were helped, and that in writing songs that were helpful to me and helpful to others, helping others through those songs was helpful to me. And while this other ego part of my brain thought, no, you're supposed to do this for fame and fortune. If you create fame and fortune, then you'll be happy. But I found that even without fame and fortune, which my ego thought was the most important thing, there was this happiness process in helping others and being helped in the process. And at that time, the way of doing it was writing songs. Now, I've come to you at Unity of Lawrence many times now, and it's the reason that I feel comfortable enough today to tell you that I truly believe we plan and God laughs. I plan to talk to you for you today called What Is Mine to Do? And the talk was all about how we all can have a calling to be helpful. And often that helping is about righting a wrong in the world that we didn't create, but we have the power to right that wrong. And it was about this calling I've had to be helpful in certain ways, and asking you how you've been called during this pandemic time where we've gone inside. We've been more introspective. We've had the time and the opportunity to connect with our higher power in greater and deeper ways than ever before, simply because we were unplugged from all the hustle bustle and the shoulds and the musts and the ought tos that our ego likes to be plugged into. Have you noticed, and give me a nod if you had, that you've had this longing to be plugged into a higher source, a higher power, higher wisdom that is often counterintuitive to what the ego wants to do? And 2 weeks ago, I was going into a church in Dallas. It was my first time of actually being at a church where I was sharing my music in person. after all this time. And there was something on their message board as I went in Dallas, Texas at Unity of Greenville, and I read it wrong, but it gave me this idea and a little song that I can only share for Unity of Lawrence, because I get you and you get me. I see that hand coming up, Jan, and I haven't had anyone put a hand up like that as connection. At first, I thought you wanted to ask a question, but I immediately recognized it as a hand of connection. Sometimes in 12-step meetings, we put our hands up like that and say a little prayer that says, I put my hand in yours, and together we can do what we could never do alone. And so I know I can share this with you because we get each other, and I know that I can. So here's the little song that came that morning, and I've been singing it ever since to myself, to put my ego in its right place. Although I suspect that my ego's right place may be even smaller, way smaller than the place I'm giving it in this little ditty. I am just God's pinky toe, thinking I know where to go, thinking I should run this show, but I am just God's pinky toe. Pinky toe, it's another name for my ego. Thinking I should run the show when I am just God's pinky toe. So now that you've heard the lyrics, I'll sing it with a little beat to make it a little more jaunty and fun. Pinky toe, I am just God's pinky toe, thinking I should run the show, but I am just God's pinky toe. Pinky toe, it's another name for my ego, thinking I should run the show, but I am just God's pinky toe. One thing I love about music and the gift of being able to write music is that if a songwriter can learn how to be really good and write things into little jingles or chants, then music has the power to get stuck in our minds. And it has the power to remind us again of something we learned when we least expect it. Give me a hand if you sometimes hear a song come up that has a lyric that you can remember. And there's an art to that. If you're driving along and you are feeling lost, or you're feeling lost in your life, and that lyric comes up, I'm not lost, I'm exploring. It's because the songwriter knew how to do that. And I wrote that with Jerry Kimbrough, who knows how to create melodies and guitar parts that get stuck in your head, like I know how to create lyrics that get stuck in your head. And when I lived in Nashville for over 20 years, I got to share the lyric ideas that I had in my head with my dearest friends who had their own amazing gifts that they added to my gifts and created these songs that cause you to invite me to come and speak at your church based on songs I wrote when I was with these friends long ago, who may never get to meet you or see how their music still plays itself in your head. But I wrote that with Jerry Kimbrough, and this morning I have my friend Holly Steele and Matt Wilder here, who have also helped me create songs that might still stick in your head and come to you when you least expect it. Because of the gift they were given that can only be shared if it's connected to the gift of another. I love that saying about we're angels with only one wing. And we are meant to connect with other angels to fly. But what I want you to know this morning, and the original idea of what is mine to do, which God created something else in the last week, other than what I planned for you. And I trust that God has a better idea and that I can set my ego aside and come to you real and raw this morning. This morning, when I was asking Kathy and Avery and John if it was okay if I just spoke from my heart, instead of delivering a talk that might have been written down or locked down some time ago, if I were the perfect deliverer of Sunday talks, they encouraged me to speak from my heart. And the funny thing is, Avery said, well, do we need to change the title to fit what you're going to say for what we put on Facebook? And I said, I don't know. What was the title? The title, here's where we plan, God laughs. The title of this talk this morning is What is Mine to Do? What is mine to do? And how often do we ask God, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? I believe it's mine to do to share with you what's really happening today. I'm in Nashville for 2.5 weeks, and I haven't been here for 2.5 years. I've been living with my mom, who I adore. My mom is 82 and I'm 62, so she hardly ever goes out. And over this past 1.5 years of the pandemic, I have hardly gone out except for walks through the neighborhood every day. And on the weekends, I see one friend that I go to have an outdoor meeting with so that I won't bring any germs home to my mom, and my friend won't bring any germs home to her family. My friend Pam Garcia and I stay away from everyone else so that we can just have that time on the weekend. Being in Nashville, with things opening up, I find myself driving a convertible of my sister's through Nashville to places I know so well, to see friends I know so well. All of those other wings that I created music with. And I'll tell you that I haven't recorded music in so many years because there's a part of me that thinks, what's the point? And it's kind of a practical part that says, well, this is how much it will cost to record a song. And you'll probably never get that money back because people don't buy music anymore. And it's bringing to mind something that my friend Lisa Firestone said last night in the studio about a man named Robert Fitz, who described the creative process this way, that we have a desire towards something. And I want you to bring to mind something you have a desire for that means something to you, that you still want to experience in your life, whether it's peace of mind or a trip to see something you've always wanted to experience, whether it's a class you've wanted to take that you think is too expensive, or a garden you'd like to create, something you'd like to learn how to do, like play the guitar or sing. That we have this desire. And I heard someone describe it like this on my way home last night as I was holding my phone up to my ear to listen about Robert Fitz and what he said. And someone else described it this way, that we put ourselves in this box. And if you can imagine having a rubber band around yourself, and on one side, it's tied to your desire. And on the other side, it's desire. There's a rubber band attached to why we can't. So there's what we want and why we can't. And the closer we get to what we want, what we desire, those desires we don't even understand, we don't think they're practical. We don't know why we have these desires. As we get closer to the desire, the rubber band of, but you can't afford it. This is not for you. You're not the one. Who are you to think you could do this or have this kind of life or experience this? It's not for you. And as we get closer to what we desire, that other rubber band pulls us back and keeps us in this tension of indecision. Nod if you can relate to that tension of indecision in 100 different ways. That tension of indecision. And yet, I remember a friend of mine who studies and teaches Course in Miracles once telling me, Jana, what if the tether is not on either side of can or can't, but what if we allow ourselves simply to be tethered to a higher power that loves and understands and gives us desires? I call it like a carrot on a stick over the mule's ears. Remember how we would see cartoons of a mule wearing a funny hat like on Hee Haw, and there was a stick out in front with the carrot, and the mule may never get the carrot, but the carrot pulls the mule forward. And what if we are tethered to this higher power who gives us desires like carrots on a stick? And what I have learned in my experience in Nashville is that when I was a television news reporter and I was living the song of what would I do today if I were brave? And I'll sing a bit of it in a moment. I needed that carrot on a stick of fame and fortune, and of believing that if I moved to Nashville, I could create fame and fortune that I thought I needed and wanted, and I thought was my greatest desire that would solve all my problems. If I could just have fame and fortune, and think about what you have had in your life. Maybe it's a person. You thought, if I could just be with that person, this person would solve all my problems, and my life would be ideal if I could just be with this person or have this kind of life or experience these things. Everything would be wonderful. And we go toward that thing, toward that carrot on a stick. But here's the other thing that I've learned. I could only leave my secure television news job if I completely believed in that carrot on a stick. But what I've learned in this journey of a lifetime is that a dream or a desire is a direction, not a destination. A desire is a direction, not a destination. A desire is a direction, not a destination. I think I'm about to give an example that lots of people can relate to. You thought if you could have this person, you'd have everything you wanted in your life, and this person was your desire. But this desire is a direction, And it's in going that direction that God delivers. God delivers what it was that we were being drawn toward. And maybe it was the child. Maybe it was the children who came from that union that would never exist if you didn't have that carrot on a stick, if you didn't have that desire. Could I have some nods if anyone is having a connection to this that's explaining things that are hard to understand sometimes? And here's the reason I believe so strongly that desire is a direction, not a destination. Because even God can't steer a parked car. Even God can't steer a parked car. It's only when we pick up our feet and start having the courage to take a few baby steps in the direction of our desires that we see the delivery of what we were meant to discover. Those gifts that were waiting for us, that we never would have found if we believed that the destination was the most important thing. But it takes us back to I'm not lost, I'm exploring. It's not about the destination. It's about what we discover and who who discovers us along the way. It's about who we're meant to be there for as that other wing for a time, and who's meant to be there for us to be that other wing as we fly together to where we're meant to be for that time. And it's about knowing that there will always be another desire and another desire and another desire. And that desires are like waves. That there will be another wave to ride, another wave of desire and another wave and another. And if you miss one wave, there's another and another and another all day long. And no judgment about which waves you catch and which waves you don't catch. Because we're always in our right place. All we need to keep doing that I'm certain of is to keep moving, to keep taking steps toward our desires. With these little songs in mind, like this one that I sing every morning I can think of it. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy way. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. I want to close this talk by letting you know what's calling me. And then I'll sing a song called True Calling, where you can ask what's calling you and focus on what's calling you and what baby steps you can take in that direction. The first step is to recognize that we do get callings, and just because you got one 10 years ago doesn't mean that's the last one. We get callings and callings like waves on the beach. Which ones feel good? Which ones are giving you that cycle of you being helpful and you feeling helped? as you are being helpful. I love this slogan that's been for all my volunteer trips, which is, the life you change may be your own. We think we may be helping others or helping animals or helping nature, or helping the earth, whatever it is we think we're helping, but in that process, we are also helped. That's a way that we know we are on the right path, that we are going in the direction of this desire and that it's a good direction. So what I know is this. I've been called right now to help a friend of mine who's a cancer survivor, and her name is Lisa Firestone. And I'm going to see if I can share a little video that obviously is not meant to share because I had it up and it's gone now. So I'm going to take that as a sign that if you go on my Facebook, which is Janice Stanfield, If I Were Brave, you'll start seeing things from me like this project with Lisa, who's a cancer survivor, who's feeling this desire that as she goes through having no hair and creating a song like Unafraid that I'm helping with. Her desire is to help other people going through cancer or difficult journeys to face their journeys unafraid, based on the little song that came to her that kind of goes like this. I'm unafraid to live, I'm unafraid to die, unafraid, you know what, I can't even remember the correct lyrics, and that's okay. We can be excellent without being perfect, because we've changed it so many times, but the line that's most important is, and if I am remembered for a life well made, I want to be remembered unafraid. I want to be remembered unafraid. Could we be unafraid in answering those true callings, knowing that our desires are given to us for a reason, and that a desire is a direction, not a destination? And if you need a little guidance about those callings, this song is here for you, called True Calling, which I wrote with one of my other angel wings, Jimmy Scott, who I also wrote If I Were Brave with. When you hear a voice no one else can hear, but it's clear and loud, ringing in your ear, and you finally know what it's time to do, that's your true calling, calling you. Your true calling is calling you. When your heart's wide open 'cause your mind's been changed, but the dreams you dream are not the same, there's a gate that's open you can walk right through, that's your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you. You ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? You think you can't, but you know that you must. I'm just remembering that I also wrote this with Tim Bays, because only Tim Bays could come up with a line like this. You're afraid you'll fall if you let go, but there's only one way you'll ever know. Those wings you keep folded are meant to be used. When your true calling is calling you, your true calling is calling you. You ask yourself, Is this a voice I can trust? You think you can't, but you know that you must. Just trust. You're afraid you'll fall if you let go, but there's only one way you'll ever know. That one wing you keep folded is meant to be used because it calls out to someone else who has a wing. It needs a little exercise. And that when we put our arms around each other's shoulders, that wing flies really well when it's connected to the wing of someone else we love. And it gives them courage too. Those wings we keep folded are meant to be used when your true calling is calling you. When your true calling is calling you. I want to take us now into a bit of a meditation. If you would close your eyes and allow yourself a moment of silence where your heart can be spoken to. I invite you to ask yourself, what's the message I was here to hear this morning? What's the message I needed most to hear this morning? And now, what are the baby steps? The first 3 baby steps I could take in the direction of this desire. Not needing to understand why I have it, but understanding that a desire is like a carrot on a stick, and that I am tethered by this rubber band connected to my higher power, to my higher source. And that I never need to think about how, because the answer to how is yes. The answer to how is yes. I know my why, because even God can't move a parked car. So what steps can I take in the direction that I'm being called? You ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? Trust. You're afraid you'll fall if you let go, but there's only one way we'll ever know. Those wings we keep folded are meant to be used when your true calling is calling you. Your true calling is calling you. And the people said yes, yes, yes. I put my hand in yours, and together we can do what we could never do alone. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you very much. It was very touching. And now is our time of thanks and offering. I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Please go online to give via PayPal or write a check and mail it in to support the Unity of Lawrence ministry. Thank you. Now let's join Holly singing I Am the Place Where God Shows Up by Eddie Watkins Jr. Great song.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm setting at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone. There's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up.
Grateful, grateful, grateful. Please stand in appreciation of all the gifts that have been laid before us and the many blessings that are bestowed upon us as a spiritual community. We receive these gifts of this time, the talents, and the treasures of each individual here and each individual that gives into our spiritual community. We are grateful. And in appreciation, we just stand in a moment of love and know that this is the spirit of this community, that we are love in action, love in following our calling, love in moving and breathing and knowing that the spirit lives and vibrates within us. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen.
So I told you guys I would do a little bit of If I Were Brave, and here it is. Just make sure. Can you hear me okay? Do you notice how everything is just all woven together this morning? I can look back and see my life as an example of all of these songs, including this one from being that television news reporter saying, but if I follow this desire, what's going to happen? This is what happens when we ask these questions. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? If I believe with the wind always fill up my sail? Pretty clear that it does, right? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge. 'Cause even God can't steer a parked car and never lose faith. Even when losing my way or just not understanding it, what step would I take today as God's pinky toe? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What could you do today? 'Cause we are so brave.
Thank you, Jana. Now it's that time of the service where we get to talk about announcements. Yay! Are any of you interested in upping your spirituality game? Ever wonder about the power of prayer? Searching for a way to help others in deep and personal way? Consider joining us for prayer chaplain training. The decision to become an active prayer chaplain at Unity of Lawrence can be made after you attend the training. Reverend Edna Mosier will be the trainer, and we will learn from the original manual created by Reverend Lee Lani. If interested, please contact Kathy at the office, and we will make plans for this event. The office email is info@unityoflawrence.org, or you can call at 785-841-1447. Join us next week as Holly Taylor brings us the message, Sifting Pillars Part 2, special music with Alexa Dawson. Yay! Now it's a wonderful time where we get to bless our youth and bless each other. Let's rub our hands together and then say together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine being in you, the divinity in you. Yes. Ooh, now let's sing the peace song with Holly and Bradford.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Now pray with me the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So it is. We invite our speaker and anyone else who would like to join for a few minutes via Zoom. We can have a lovely visit. Look forward to seeing you all there. Hold on just a moment, and Avery will allow us to unmute.